It's just me. It looks like blood right here.
All right. Well, sorry about that. I'm literally choking on my breakfast sandwich. It's a weird day. It's Friday. Friday, as
Little did you know it was going to be the snuff film edition of the TMI show.
I am choking on Ted's people's food, a croissant. Thanks, Ted.
It's like, hey, you're welcome. Do you know that's an anti-Islamist food? Do you know that? It's true.
A croissant?
The croissant is a political statement. It is banned under anywhere where radical Islamists are, like ISIS banned it from Lebanon, the areas of Syria, what Syria is very French influenced, but it's not permitted there because it was created to celebrate the victory of Charles Martel over the Moors, and where he repelled the Moorish invasion. And so they came up with it's a crescent, right? So it's about the Muslims. It's about the crescent moon. So the croissant is a pro-Catholic pastry, anti-Muslim.
Oh, well, I don't mean for this to be anti-Muslim. Mm-hmm. Pro-Catholic, I'm okay with, even if I'm non-practicing, but okay. At any rate, it is Friday, August 8th, 2025. Ted, as you can see, is not in his regular home studio. He is in Shea Robbie's in Montana.
That's right.
Look at that. Look at that. The two of them together. How about that? So I'm Manila Chan. That's Ted Rall. You are tuned in to the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short, because we bring you, as you just learned right there off the top, we bring you way too much information. Stuff you didn't even know that you needed to know. So that was an interesting tidbit about the crescent shape, the croissant. Did not know that.
That's
French
true.
Pastry.
You didn't know that. No, a lot of pastries, not just in France, but in France, are designed to commemorate historical events.
That's nerdy.
Yeah, well, I'm just reporting it. I'm not making it up. It's not my fault.
Very interesting. But it's your culture, Ted.
It is my culture.
From the motherland.
My beloved culture.
Yes. So there you go. I was eating a racist breakfast.
Yeah, that's the Muslim cause. That's the you're choking on the blood of the Gazans.
That's exactly what it is. The Muslims must be trying to get me back for being Catholic. So there you are. We're live Monday through Friday, guys, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please be sure to hit the like and the follow button, the subscribe button, all that good stuff. It helps the show tremendously. That little action, just click and the thumbs up. That really helps. So on today's show,
and the shares. Share it.
Share the show. On today's show, we're going to do a Fun Friday. But before we get to all the Fun Friday topics, which I guess has a lot to do with sex.
That's right. I always try to look for themes, and there's definitely a theme.
Well, before we get to that, though,
we had animals.
Worth a mention. Yeah, the animal thing the other day. Worth a mention is the breaking news from Germany. Who'd have thunk, Ted? Friedrich Merz, the new chancellor, sacking up, growing a spine, standing up to Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, Germany is not going to send any more weapons to you because you guys have now made it explicitly clear that your policy is now to annex all of Gaza, take over Gaza City. So we're not going to send you any more arms.
Well, no, is that exactly correct, or is that just what they call offensive weapons as opposed to defensive weapons?
I haven't. Well, the news just broke. I haven't dug into it, and we're not going to get into it today because it's brand new news. So we're going to wait a few days, see what unfolds.
That's a big change, right? Because Germany, due to the guilt from the Holocaust in World War II, they have always been as tight as can be, like not one molecule of air between them and Israel all these years. And they, certainly, I don't know that they're ready to recognize Palestine as a state the way France is doing. But, there's pressure on these other countries to do it now that France has led the way.
And Canada.
Although Canada's is very provisional. It's based on, there's all sorts of conditions attached. but we can, that's a whole,
UK,
we'll get to that later.
UK had all the provisions. Canada's like, oh, we're ready to say it at the UNGA in September.
But you have to pretend that hockey's a good game. You have to.
Hockey's fun. I like going to hockey games.
Yeah, well, there's violence, and I'm always, any sport that has the potential of violence is one that I can normally sign up on for. But yeah.
Yeah, and Ted, next week, I just want to say, when you're back on, because you're taking a few days off while you're traveling, I really want us to get into this story because you've been to Afghanistan. There's this whole new...
More times than I can count. Well, that's not true. I can count them. But yeah.
There's this... If you guys don't believe me, it's out there. There's a TikTok trend with travel influencers, men and women, Westerners going to Afghanistan.
Good. By the way, I've seen a lot of, you're right, that I do believe it. I have noted, before the story broke, I had noticed this. And I'm not even a TikTok person, but you know how TikTok Reels pop up in other media. And so like on Facebook Reels and so on. And there's a lot of influencer travel to Afghanistan. Look, it's never, honestly, it makes a lot of sense. It's never been safer to go there. It is absolutely, if you've ever wanted to go, now's the time to go. It's safe.
Safer now than when you went?
Oh, yeah. You mean like the time when like I went with 45 people and 8 didn't come back alive? Yeah, it's safer than that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that when Ted
you mean like
gets
the time
back
I came back carrying
City.
the coffin of my colleague? Yeah, it's safer than that.
Oh God. Well, we'll get into that when Ted returns. But this is a crazy new travel trend, and the influencers are getting a lot of flack over it. And I get why. But we'll get into that next week.
I don't at all. But we'll get into that. We'll cover it another time.
Well, I get why the establishment is angry about it. Because the narrative. No, not that part. I'm saying the establishment political class here in Washington, the narrative is that because we, the US, we lost, these guys right here, we lost, therefore they is bad. They is all bad. They brown people.
No, see, we
all
lost
bad.
Because we were bad. That's what happened.
But I'm just saying this is the political narrative, the political theater that exists here in Washington. And so because we lost, therefore that country bad, and you Merkins shouldn't go there because they's is bad.
Right.
We's the goodies. We.
That's what they say. All right.
So that's, we'll talk about that next week when Ted returns. Which I should also mention. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll have guest co-hosts. A couple to be confirmed. Scott Stantis stepping in for you, your bestie, next week.
Yeah, that's going to suck for me because his numbers are going to be better than mine. But what could you do?
You're going to come back and I'm going to go, Ted, I love you, but
Scott's
we have to break the news. Scott's replacing you.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you go on vacay.
He dresses really nicely.
Oh so quick story. My dad, he was a young officer in the Air Force. He worked in like he had a desk job because we weren't at war. So he decides to take a vacation. He's gone like a week or two, comes back, and some other guy's sitting at his desk. And so he goes to his boss and says, "What's going on?" And he goes, "Well, you weren't here and we didn't want to let the desk go to waste." So he's like, "Well, can I have my desk back?" It's like, "No, he's at your desk now." The message was clear. Don't take vacation. Like, don't go. Like basically we have a story. Our first story is like related to that.
Perfect segue.
So he was, of course, it was really humiliating. So he's like, "What am I supposed to do?" It's like, "I don't know. You figure it out." So my father jujitsu'd him. My father's a very smart guy. So he decided to be the soft pillow. So here he is in full uniform. Like he shows up in dress uniform from that day on. He found an old box in the hallway and sat on the floor and did his work on the floor at the box next to everyone else. This is an old 1960s office where all the desks are side by side, like in a grid. So a month goes by like this. He has to go to work like this every single day. Finally, what happened was something that my father anticipated. A general wandered in to do some business. He sees my dad sitting on the floor, and he yells at the boss. He says, "What the hell is that man doing sitting on the floor?" And he's like, "Well, like, oh, we didn't have her." So the guy says, "All right, give him yours." And he's like, "Well, no, I'll find him a desk." "No, I mean it. Give him yours." And he did.
That's a great story. And before we go to our first story about work-life balance and how bosses can suck, let's not forget, Ted, when you go on vacation, like the former king of Libya before Muammar Gaddafi.
Right. You might not get to come home. That happens a lot with dictators. They're like,
you go on vacation, Ted,
the Shah,
and then you got a new bloodless dictatorship takeover.
Wasn't vacation when the Shah left, but he was sick.
No, Libya. He was the king.
Yeah.
I think he went to Turkey for like gallbladder surgery or something.
No, it happened. I think, didn't that happen to Ferdinand Marcos too? Like, wasn't he out of the? Didn't he leave the Philippines? Just like he was on vacay or something, and then it's like, oh, since you're gone, we're going to overthrow you. Yeah. I think that's.
I thought he drowned under Imelda's mountain of shoes. That's what happened.
When the cat's away,
the wife goes more shoe shopping. No, but that's really what happened in Libya. Is the then king who Muammar Gaddafi was the general of the royal military. Mm-hmm. The king went away, I think, to Turkey.
No, remember Gaddafi was only a colonel.
Oh, colonel.
That was a whole period when young upstarts could take over. Like Manuel Noriega was not a general either. He promoted himself to general, which once you're dictator you can do.
Well, yeah.
Gaddafi was a socialist, so he didn't do that.
Oh, well. That's what happened to the king of Libya, and then he went away. I think somewhere in the Mediterranean, and Muammar Gaddafi was like, I think I'm going to go ahead and not be king, make this a socialist state, and I'll just be the chairman and the general.
I'll be but not the general, just the high-ranking colonel. All right, shall we jaws it and get to it?
All right, let's get to it. This is exactly like the work story that you guys need to hear about, because you're probably at your office right now.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So I will not lie, when you sent this story over into the group chat, Manila, I was like, my blood started boiling. I hate people like this. AI coding startup Cognition is the name of the company, acquired fellow AI startup Windsurf's intellectual property, product, and staff last month in a deal at an undisclosed price. Fine, whatever. This week, The Information, which is a publication, reported that after cutting 30 employees from Windsurf, Cognition is giving the surviving 200 people a choice: accept a buyout. It's a big buyout, 9-month salary, or you can stay on but work long hours, at least 6 days a week or 80 hours a week. According to an internal email viewed by the outlet, Windsurf employees have to figure this out by August 10th, in 2 days, to decide whether to, should I stay or should I go now? We don't believe in work-life balance. Building the future of software engineering is a mission we all care so deeply about that we couldn't possibly separate the two, Cognition CEO Scott Wu and America's biggest douchebag of the week wrote in an email viewed by the outlet.
Who knew a douchebag looked like such a nice little computer nerd?
Oh, well, that's a whole thing now. Look at Dr. Pat. He looks so sweet, and he's the devil.
That's true.
Anyway, although if you consider devil lore, that's kind of like what you'd expect. The devil would be sweet and
Like
good looking.
this guy issuing right here, the guy on the right is Scott Wu, the CEO of Cognition. He's the guy saying this stuff.
The man who didn't get bullied enough as a child. Wu backed up his stance on X with acknowledging that Cognition has an extreme performance culture, and that what is he, Mountain Dew commercial? And that
like extreme
is upfront about the atmosphere when hiring. We routinely are at the office through the weekend and do some of our best work late into the night, Wu wrote. Many of us literally live where we work. We understand it's not for everyone. It shouldn't be for anyone under federal law, okay? It's really, first of all, I completely deny the possibility that it's true that they do some of their best work late in the night. I don't think that's possibly true. Working long hours is a you get burned out, you're tired.
But I can vouch for, like I said, I had a significant other for many years who was at an unnamed tech company that I'll say. And if we isolate the two things, like long hours versus night owl hours, I will say that I saw these workers, and they were dudes mostly. They were coming up with their best stuff we'd be at the offices at 2:00 in the morning, and these guys were hammering away.
Right, well, okay.
And,
all right. Well, if
but
you saw
that's
it,
not to say that they weren't doing 80 hours a week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, I've definitely had great ideas late at night. But I think if you you can work 80 hours one week and nothing's going to happen. But if you make that a normal thing and you grind it out 80 hours a week, week after week after week, your body is going to start to fall apart, and your brain's part of your body.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, typical buyout is 4 weeks of pay. Not that impressive. Plus an additional week for every year you were at the company. 9 months is a higher buyout than usual, but they're not really offering 9 months, right? So it's a week for every year. To get to 9 months, riddle me this. You have to there's 4 weeks in a month, roughly. So you'd have to have worked 36 years.
Which is impossible.
So minus the 4, so 30 years to get to 9 months, right? 32 years. Yeah, I don't think windsurf's been around I never even heard of it.
No.
32 years. So this is kind of a bullshit story already.
Well, Scott Wu barely looks 32.
That's true. That's true. He part of the problem here is also, I know this is our non-sex story, but Scott Wu looks like a man who maybe, if he had someone waiting to have sex with him at home, might not work 80 hours a week. And he doesn't look like the kind of man who has someone waiting to have sex with him at home.
Good point.
Anyway, it's been a turbulent few months for this company, for Windsurf. The startup was originally in talks with another satanic company, OpenAI, for a $3 billion acquisition. That deal fell apart in early July. Then Google stepped in and paid $2.4 billion in exchange for non-exclusive licensing rights to Windsurf's tech and access to Windsurf talent, whatever's left of them after they have all been worked to death, to join Google's AI effort. Google then hired CEO Varun Mohan, co-founder Douglas Chen, and a select group of researchers from Windsurf as part of the deal. The rest of Windsurf was ultimately acquired by Cognition on July 14th. So yeah, there's not a lot left of this sinking ship, and it seems like they've decided to work them all like slaves for those people who survive.
Ted, my question though,
go ahead.
Don't delve in yet, because you and Robbie have strong feelings about this next thing. I don't have such strong feelings about it, but I have opinions, but I don't have feelings about it really. But how many of these soon to be laid off workers do you think are the H-1B workers?
Oh, that's a really, really, well, you mean, no, there will be our H-1B? Oh, zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to keep the H-1B workers, and they're going to fire the Americans and hire more H-1B workers. I mean, because we're these sissies that want work-life balance. Well, because the H-1B workers are going to be like, do I want to go back to fucking Bangladesh and and drown from climate change waters? Like, no. And it's in 130-degree swamp water? No, thank you. I'll stay 80 hours a week. That's sounding good to me.
Like,
It's
this is
half
like
salary.
laying
I'm
to
all about
bear.
it. Pardon?
Ted, this is laying to bear the lack of ethics in that industry and the exploitation of not only American workers, but at this
Yeah.
point, laying to bear the exploitation of the immigrant worker.
No, that's
Here legally.
of course everybody's exploited in this whole equation. It's the typical boss's ruse of playing workers against each other. I mean, in a socialist world, Bangladeshi workers and American workers should be in solidarity fighting the man. In this case, like the man is pitting us against each other, like rats in a cage competing for shrinking resources, and it's of course disgusting, but it always works.
It's like the Roman Colosseum for these people.
Yeah, no, they don't care at all. I mean, the H-1B visa system, like the whole idea. I mean, what's so frustrating about it is that even legally, it's like under the law, the company is supposed to be certified under pain of perjury that they can't hire an American for these jobs. These jobs would go unfilled if they didn't bring in foreign expertise. And yet, so when you actually put them to the test, did you actually try to recruit aggressively or at all in the US? Most of the time they didn't. And in fact, often they have an H-1B worker come to the US, they're trained by their American counterpart, who then is fired and replaced by the person that they trained. This is really well documented. It's not like this happened twice. This happens all the time. This is routine. In my opinion, a company that gets caught doing that one time should be nationalized, and all of its assets should be transferred to the U.S. Treasury, and the CEO should be sent to prison for 20 years. No chance for parole. Okay.
Join our team. I'm on their careers website.
Yeah, who'd want to? You should. You know how Robbie and I constantly scam the scammers, and we tell them like, "Hi, cutie, how are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm not so good. I've been kidnapped by ICE." Like, it would be. I think everyone should apply to this company, Cognition.
Just spam them
and just but like really pretend to be like, man, 80 hours isn't enough for me. Yeah. I want 120 hours a week, man. And it's like, I care about nothing more than the future of software engineering. I masturbate at night thinking about the future of software engineering. When I look at my romantic partner, I see code. I mean,
168 hours, 24 hours times 7 days, 168 hours.
Don't even pay me. I'm like I'll come here on a galley ship from ancient Rome. Like I'm a dog. I'll bark all day long for you. I'll wear a collar. That's.
You're up in the Bay Area. Here are all their job openings. Like if you want to work for Scott Wu, who says they have an extreme coding environment. Yeah, extreme, man. Our team is small and talent dense. Our founding team has 10.
Dense is certainly true.
Including leaders, builders who have worked at the cutting edge of applied AI at companies like Cursor, Scale AI, Lunch Club, Modal, Google DeepMind, Waymo, and Neuro. I think Neuro is Elon Musk's thing. Building Devon is just the first step. Our hardest challenges still lie ahead. If you're excited to solve some of the world's biggest problems and build AI that can reason, learn more about our team, and apply to one of these roles below. There's a general application. We should all.
By the way, it's almost like listening to a foreign language, isn't it? When they talk about
I was like, what
these companies, like, I work at Toad Stork, and then I moved on to Vaginosis. That place was great.
Like I don't know what the general application is, but Ted, we're both out of work. We should just apply for the hell of it.
Yeah. Who knows? You might get the job.
Product engineer, software engineer. So these are all tech stuff. Obviously, what's a GTM manager? An engagement manager.
That's like engagement manager. Before you get married, you get engaged.
No, I think what they mean is
that's a PR flack, isn't it?
I think it is. I think that's what it is. I think boy, do they need some PR, because whoever told them that was okay to say.
Literally, Taylor Wu today becomes one of the most hated techno douches. Scott Wu becomes one of the hated techno douches in the entire country, and we have a lot of them to choose from. So that's saying a lot. I mean, he's making Elon Musk look like a saint.
Yeah.
Would you be in favor of ICE deporting him?
Scott sounds American.
I will not. I'll only be in favor of ICE deporting him if they also brutalize him physically on the way.
They would have to wrongly pick him up, because he sounds, both of these guys, Jeff Wang, the guy
they can claim that he's
fired. You can, yes, you could claim he's with,
Scott Wu, Los Wu.
This is
actions happen all the time.
True, we know.
As the one Asian on this show, I have to say, Scott Wu brings great disgrace. Great disgrace, Ted. Great disgrace on the people.
It is a great disgrace. It's true.
I mean, to really say that you just don't give a fuck about other people's mental health and people's well-being because it's all in the name of advancing technology, man. Like, you don't sound cool. You sound like an asshole. And whoever is their engagement manager now, I mean, maybe the job's open because
working long hours does not get more results. Look, let's just say this, right? I mean, let's just say that you need a total of 15,000 men. Remember how Malcolm Gladwell said you need 10,000 hours
to be an expert
in order to master a task? I don't really know if that's true or not, but that was his argument. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that a team needs 15,000 person hours to make a major achievement, in technology, right? Well, I mean, how you get there doesn't really matter. I mean, it's like, in other words, working people 80 hours a week will get you there, I guess, but you could hire twice as many people for 40-hour a week and you'd get there in the same exact amount of time, right? So what this
but then
is
you're
really
paying more
about,
income, more salaries, and more health insurance.
Right, and that's what this is really about. I mean, he's trying to make it look like you have to show you're committed and you love it, but that's not what this is really about. This is about underpaying people, because overworking people at long hours is merely a form of underpaying them. So it's not like he's paying.
It's a salary. It's an exempt worker problem.
They're not making $300,000 a year. These 80-hour.
No, they're making like low 100s. Like,
right. So therefore, he could hire this, half as many people for twice as much money. He doesn't want to do that. So this is nothing. He's trying to make it about Americans' work ethics. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about his cheapness. That's what it's about.
He's so tight that he squeaks when he walks. And this is coming from a frugal Asian woman. I'm very frugal.
If you can't afford to pay your help, you can't afford, your business model doesn't work. You can't afford to be in business. It's sort of like the first time I asked my mom, I met a girl I took her to Friendly's ice cream when it was technically my first date. I think I was 14. And I said, what about the tip? Is that optional? And she goes, if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to eat out. And that's the same thing. If you can't afford to pay properly, and that's why I never had an intern. I didn't believe in unpaid labor. And so I couldn't afford to hire an intern. So I didn't hire an intern. So, you basically just can't do that. Anyway, we should move on.
They're not poor, Ted. They're not poor. Scott Wu's company acquired Jeff Wang's company, Windsurf. We're talking, and then Microsoft has come into play.
Billions.
We're in billions. We're in the $2.5 billion. These guys aren't poor. They're not just poor. Cheap.
That's it. All right, let's move on. Dean Cain has great respect for ICE agents, so he's the one. So he's decided to become one, sort of. During an interview with Fox News Digital, the Superman actor, explained that his motive to join ICE is the same as when he decided to get involved in law enforcement nearly a decade ago to protect and serve the people. The Lewis and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman star, is a deputy sheriff and a reserve cop and encourages other Americans to get involved if they can. Our ICE agents, he says, who are amazing men and women, first of all, he doesn't know that. Nobody knows what animal they are under all that gear. Those could be gorillas. They could be large antelopes, you know, it's like standing up on their hind legs. No one knows. They could be space aliens. I just want to be clear on this. So he says they're incredible. Well, they're incredible because we don't know who they are. And they're black, and they're brown and green and yellow and Japanese and whatever. They're a cross-section of Americans, he told Fox News Digital. Again, he doesn't know that. Nobody knows what they look like. They are doing their job, the job that Congress wrote the laws for them to support and uphold. Just like the SS were doing their job, and the job that the Reichstag wrote for them to support and uphold. And they're doing the job of deporting people who are here illegally, and some who are totally here legally. If you're a legal citizen here in this country, no worries, you're great. That's not factually true. But if you're here illegally, you've broken the law to begin with, whatever the circumstances are. Whatever the circumstances are, do matter. You had multiple opportunities to self-deport, and the fact that these men and women who are doing their jobs are getting vilified, they're getting vilified because they're goons. And that's why, and they don't have the bravery to show their faces. And I had to stand up with them and for them because I think it takes people standing up to change the culture, Cain said. That part's true. He was inspired by their stories and decided to film a recruitment video for ICE since it was looking for agents. By the way, $50,000 signing bonus if you want to join the Gestapo. And he supports it. Cain will be sworn in. This reminds me, Manila, do you remember? Well, I'll just tell the story. So Cain will be sworn in as an honorary ICE officer in the coming month. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, the DHS's spokesperson, said it wasn't immediately clear what his duties would entail as an honorary ICE goon. He told Fox Digital he's just happy to be showing his support to the brave men and women tackling immigration issues in America. Do you remember the incident where the very, very famous photo of Elvis Presley shaking hands with Richard Nixon?
Yes.
So do you know how that came about? So Elvis Presley was really turned off by the hippies in the 60s, the anti-war protesters. And
Really?
he came to become a big avid supporter of Richard Nixon. It's also true that he was doing a lot of drugs and alcohol. So anyway, he got obsessed with the idea that he wanted to be appointed a special agent of the FBI. Like, I spy for the FBI. So he lobbied and lobbied and lobbied to get a visit to the White House. And finally, Nixon, thinking that it would look cool for him to hang out with the king, invited Elvis to the White House, where he indeed presented him with a badge as a special agent of the FBI to basically fight for, the conservative American way. That if you go to Graceland, you'll see that badge on display, and it's definitely one of the weirder images. It's very, very strange. So he's not even okay. So just so we're clear, Dean Cain joins ICE is in quotes, scare quotes. Not true. Yes.
Right. So he's really.
If you really are an ICE person who really is, you can't tell anyone where you work. Everyone hates you, and you might get beaten up. Like, you must be a little resentful of this guy, right?
Wait, so the point I want to make here is that so he, like one of our viewers on YouTube, which I can put up here. Hold on here. Okay, here. This is a good quote. The guy who played the illegal alien is really into this.
That's so true.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that's really clever.
Dude, you arrived by asteroid. He didn't even show up at Eagle Pass, Texas. He didn't even fill out the app.
If
No,
you're
meteorite,
Superman,
not asteroid, meteorite. He came by meteorite.
Superman is not only not from another country, not even from Earth.
And he's
Like,
and
you're
he's
the
a major,
ultimate illegal alien.
and he's
like,
a major disruptive force too.
He took a journalist, a human Earthling's journalism job.
That's true. He did. Yeah.
I take personal offense to that.
And by the way,
But-
from a Me Too perspective, isn't it kind of really gross that he misrepresented himself to Lois Lane?
Ooh.
You know, it's like, oh no, I'm not that dude. I'm this dude.
I'm a nerdy reporter.
Yeah.
Like, but
Superman
as
is-
Dean
he-
Cain the person,
yeah,
Ted, hold on.
He's
As
sketchy.
Dean Cain the person, you know, when presidents, like you said, like with Elvis, like giving him an FBI badge or whatever it was, or and like POTUSes all through time, when there are sick children that like say, I dream of being a police officer or whatever, and you know
Sure.
that they'll never live to get to, you know, adulthood to become a cop or a fireman or whatever. This is kind of the same thing where this celebrity is like, I'm joining ICE, and they're like giving him a badge to be like, here you go, buddy, here you go.
That's what it is.
Good.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? You
Very
know what,
sweet.
like
Here you
it's
go,
like
buddy.
it's like when you bring your little boy or little girl on the plane, and the captain comes out of the cockpit and gives them the wings. You're a pilot too. Do you want to see the inside
They
of the
did that
cockpit?
with my son. Yeah,
There you go, little cutie.
that's what
You
they did
go.
with my son. And they were, you know, a couple years ago, and they were like, there you go, buddy. Now you're a pilot too. And he was
Here
like,
go, little Will Cain. Oh, you're so cute. Look, you can be a little Gestapo SS little ruffian and beat up mom, like a big brave boy beating up moms who are like working as nannies for rich people. Aren't you proud?
I didn't read this story, so I this particular story, because I assumed, I was like,
By the way, speaking of ICE,
like,
Manila,
is he an adult? Really?
so you know, like I'm sure you saw the footage of like the ICE goons jumping out. They got a rider truck. They went to the
they got a Penske truck,
Penske.
and the Penske's rebuked ICE for doing that.
So they got a Penske truck, and then they drove to Home Depot, and they jumped out of the back like, ha ha ha. Okay, so first of all, here's my criticism. I want to hear what Robbie has to say about this.
Uh-oh.
So like, okay, so they're doing most of their hunting, ICE, at Home Depot.
At Home Depot, yeah.
Okay, by definition, the people at Home Depot, they're working hard. They're there to work. They're day laborers. They're not. But if you were gathering up like pedos and rapists and people who want to make you work 80 hours a week, I'd be like, you guys go, gangbangers. Bye. No, we're not going to miss you. You shouldn't be starting with like, if you want to eventually deport the Home Depot people as like number 17 on your list, fine. But like, it shouldn't be number 1 on your list.
I disagree. And
We knew Bobby was going to say that.
well, no. Here's the thing. Of the three of us that are here on the show, I'm the only one that's actually lost a job because of cheap immigrant labor. That is a fact. Before we moved here to Montana, I was working at a ranch called Diamond Dairyville Farm. It was a peanut and cotton farm. I did that for over a year in 110-degree Florida heat, 100% humidity, wearing big old rubber boots and flannel shirts. And they're paying me too much when they start bringing the Mexicans over who are willing to work for $1.25 a day. My son was just born, and I lost that job because of cheap, unskilled migrant labor. Every single one of them be deported. I give zero craps about them.
But don't you think priorities like like rapists should go first, murderers should go first?
Well, of course, because they're already captured. So just deport them.
Well, there's that too, honestly.
Yeah.
And we're paying to jail them.
I agree. I mean, the pedos, I already said this before, just hang them. Just be done with them.
Yeah, because it's not really right to like let like Mexican children be raped by these.
No, I mean,
pedophiles.
I'm dead serious. I mean, like the zoo there in Europe that needs the pets. Just drop the pedos there.
The Danish zoo.
Yeah, just let them. Let's let nature take its course. It's an ecologically sound.
And the
solution.
pedophiles make a bigger meal than like a cat.
Oh, I agree.
So even a small pedophile
no,
is much bigger than
no,
a cat.
but no, as far people say these hardworking immigrants are doing jobs that Americans won't do. That is a bona fide lie.
Yeah, well, that is a lie.
They are doing jobs
That are
for less
underpaid.
that what Americans are able to do. Like Ted, you're here in Montana. You're right here. You're right here with me in Kalispell. You've seen the prices here.
It's crazy.
If I'm working minimum wage, how can I live here? The answer is I can't.
Yeah, no, like last night I had a drink and I was like, it's more expensive than at my local bar in Manhattan.
I mean, so
it was like a shit kicker bar. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a fancy.
A dive.
Well, it was like literally it's a honky tonk.
Oh.
It was fun, but it's like a place like that's supposed to be cheap.
My stance on immigration, it's not because I'm hard-hearted. It's not because I hate brown people. It's because I have a visceral disdain and disgust for people who break the laws of my country, coming in and driving down wages, and meanwhile I'm trying to scrape up coins to go buy diapers for my son. So no, every last swinging dick of them could be deported. Man, woman, child, I do not care.
Leave the cats. Okay. With that,
so there's
the cats are innocent. So now we get into the sex theme. Cryptocurrency meme coin creators say they're the ones responsible for those sex toys that are being thrown at WNBA games, and they say they're going to do it more and more. From Atlanta to LA, no arena has been safe from neon green objects whizzing from the stands. There's stories all over the internet about this, through the air and onto WNBA courts.
And by the way, I'm not putting up video of that because we will get so wrecked by YouTube.
Is that true?
Yeah, because it contains it'll be considered sexual content. So I'm unable to put up the green dills.
All right. Well, we haven't gotten to you. All right. You weren't supposed to say what they were.
I spilled the beans. Sorry.
Yeah, you blew that. Yeah. If there's an opportune window, a brightly colored entity will be thrown, causing intentional and symbolic chaos, according to a spokesperson for the cryptocurrency group. Over the last 2 weeks, there have been at least 6 known incidents, I would say a lot more than that based on what I've read, of green sex toys being thrown at the WNBA. The latest to garner attention happened Tuesday at a game between the Indiana Fever, what a badly named team, and the LA Sparks at Crypto.com Arena in LA. Green sex toys were also thrown into the stands at New York Liberty and Phoenix Mercury games Tuesday, at 2 Atlanta Dream games last week, and a Chicago Sky. What is with these team names? They're terrible. On Friday, 2 people have been arrested on multiple charges for allegedly throwing the objects. It's ridiculous, it's dumb, it's stupid, Sparks coach Lynn Roberts said. It's also dangerous. Player safety is number one. Respecting the game, all those things. I think it's really stupid. The spokesman for the crypto group told USA Today Sports that wasn't their intention. He said a group of crypto enthusiasts and traders launched Green Dildo Coin, the trading mark Dildo, a meme coin intended to be lighthearted and perceived as a joke in late July to protest what they described as a toxic environment in the crypto world. According to the group, many smaller players in the space are struggling to keep up with the influx of influencers and scammers. As a form of protest, obviously, much like the civil rights movement, the meme coin was created and the faction began infiltrating WNBA arenas, much as Martin Luther King would have done, with color-coordinated sex toys to coincide with the launch. The crypto group spokesman said it's not their intention to harm anyone, but, they're athletes. They could trip and fall. Okay?
Yeah.
And members of the community have been advised to only throw their branded green items if there's a level of personal comfort and the objects can land without hitting someone. He also shot down any narrative that the sex toys were a sign of disrespect toward the athletes, who are, of course, women.
Huh.
I guess
Weird.
we have 2 douche stories so far. I think this is really douchey. I have to say, if I were playing, there you are. You should be able to play basketball professionally without having to look for things that you might trip over or have assholes throwing things at you. That seems like a really basic thing to say. Sorry.
Like, this isn't throwing popcorn or peanuts. This is
Don't throw anything. Don't throw anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. But my point is, it's not popcorn or peanuts. This is giant green dildos.
Yep.
giant rubber or latex, whatever they're made of, dildos that are as big as the feet of these basketball players.
I'm sure that the cheap plastic ones, right? Because otherwise they don't.
I don't know.
Because dildos can be very expensive.
I don't know. I don't know the dildo market. We should ask Rabbi Shmuley. He's in that industry. Maybe he can elucidate us. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Did you not know that?
No. How would I know that?
Rabbi Shmuley, who, you know, if you guys don't know who he is, go look him up. He's a rabid pro BB fan, and, you know, big fan of the Zio stuff. He and his daughter.
So he has dildo politics and a dildo business.
He's a big dildo. He and his daughter own sex shops.
Okay.
I didn't know that was like, but I know what the caveat was. Rabbi Shmuley and his daughter opened the first ever kosher sex shop.
Yeah, you can't have those like
this
pigs,
is not I'm not making it up.
A whole pig, you know, yeah, aren't there like there's like condoms that are like made from like lamb skin, so that would not be kosher.
I'm not making
it's made from
an
animal with cloven hooves and stuff like that.
So all the materials used in Rabbi Shmuley and family's sex shop.
It's shaped like a sausage, but it's not a sausage.
It's kosher. So
Totally.
I don't think that's what's being thrown at these women, these professional athletes, these professional women.
And it is fucking like, look, it is.
Well, why aren't they doing this at NBA games?
Yeah, it's
like,
disrespectful.
Don't tell me this isn't a sexist thing, because you assholes aren't throwing them out at the men's games. Why are you throwing it out at women's games?
Yeah, it might be sexist. Like they might not have thought it was sexist, but I doubt they didn't think that. But I mean, certainly as soon as someone points out, "Hey, we're only doing it to the chicks," it's like yeah. Well,
like,
it's hard for me to get angry about it, but I just think it's like it's rotten behavior. You know?
Well, it's hard for you to get angry about it because you and Robbie are men, and I'm not in fear. Like I'm not.
No, it's hard for me to get angry at anything that involves flying dildos, but yeah.
But the whole, what makes me angry is these idiots. If they are in earnest saying that we didn't think it was meant to,
we're protesting the toxic
sexist,
crypto, whatever it is.
We didn't mean for it to be sexist. If that is honest, then I'm very annoyed and upset with whatever I'm either more or less angry. I don't know yet if that was said in earnest or if they're being disingenuous. But the fact that they would even say that they didn't think that was sexist to do at a women's game.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's retarded.
That's the part that pisses me off.
It's totally retarded. All right, and let's move on. This is actually really serious, and this is news that will affect 1% of our female viewers. So, guys, pay close attention. And
look,
for the
pelvic rehab.
And for the men in your life, and for the guys who have female friends, sisters, mothers, great-grandmothers, pay close attention.
Wives, girlfriends, all of that.
Come again? Doctors in China say they're baffled over the case of a young woman who experiences uncontrollable orgasms multiple times a day, leaving the terminally titillated 20-year-old in a perpetual state of arousal. The sexual arousal symptoms are characterized by recurrent and spontaneous orgasmic experiences that, according to Doctors Jin Yan and Defang Ouyang of the Peking University 6th Hospital in Beijing. They always do that in China. Everything's like a numbered thing, like International Hotel number 6 in a study of the curious case published in AME Case
You guys
Reports.
do that for public schools in New York City, Ted.
That's true. Yeah, PS 27,
whatever.
PS 27 or whatever. For 5 years, the unnamed 20-year-old experienced the thunder down below without sexual stimulation, leading experts to deduce eventually that she suffers from persistent genital arousal disorder, PGAD, according to
right here. Look at this.
PGAD. Well, you don't know that this is not a soft G. You don't know that as soft as the female orgasm itself. While this affliction might sound like hours of fun, constant pleasure can be quite annoying, causing significant impairment in psychosocial well-being and daily functioning. Duh. This was certainly the case with the patient, who reportedly experienced immense distress and was unable to attend school or work or maintain relationships. No, I mean, I think it would be a hell. It's like those people who like are permanently feeling tickled or whatever like that. Or there's like some person who had like the hiccups for years on end.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, getting diagnosed with PGAD was a long time coming. I'll do it your way, Manila. Her symptoms first reared their head when she was 14, initially manifesting as what she called an electric sensation in her abdomen, accompanied by pelvic contractions resembling orgasms. This was around the same time that the girl began displaying increased sensitivity, coupled with weird beliefs, such as thinking that others could read her thoughts, which led her to be hospitalized and treated for depression and psychosis. Despite multiple remedies, including anti-epileptic and psychiatric medications, her symptoms persisted, leading her to believe that her climaxes were caused by external stimuli. By the time she finally got to the hospital, her condition had gotten to the point where she could barely explain her symptoms without getting interrupted by an orgasm. Neurologists initially ruled out epilepsy through EEG and other tests, and physical exams showed no structural abnormalities in her brain or downstairs in her junk that could have triggered her perennial pleasure responses. Doctors eventually diagnosed her with PGAD after a regime of antipsychotic drugs seemed to help. After several weeks of treatment, the patient's condition improved to the point where she was able to go back to work and have a normal social life. Unfortunately, PGAD still flies under the radar. First formally described in 2001, the malady affects a projected 1% of American women, but remains underdiagnosed, I would say so, according to the Cleveland Clinic. Possible causes include everything from just nerves, blood flow, antidepressant medications, such as SSRIs.
Okay, wait. So this particular case that we're reading, the article here, it's a 20-year-old woman in China. I believe, Ted, you said that they tried like the
It started when she was
antipsychotics
14.
on her.
It's been going on for
14.
6 years. Yeah.
So 14 is more or less the age that you're going through puberty, you're getting your first period, more or less. I know kids are getting them much, much younger. In America, much, much younger.
10.
But elsewhere around the world, 13 or 14 is the norm. So I feel like there's something there that happened in her development, and then
well, 1%. If 1% of American women have it, I mean,
yeah,
I would say it's uncommon, but not rare.
1% is a lot. That's what I'm shocked about.
Let's put it this way.
I've never even heard of this.
Manila, think about how much we spend on this show and in our country talking about trans people. 1% of the country is not trans. Okay? Like, I mean, actually trans, not like the people who just want to be cool in college. So, like, we spend a lot of time talking about that 0.2% or whatever. This is 1% of all women. That's 0.5% of all people in the United States. 1 out of 200 people. That's a lot.
So
if 1 in 200 people had a green head, you'd
never even heard of this. I've never even heard of it.
Me neither. Never heard of it.
I mean, I've heard of, not as like a full-blown diagnosis, but I mean, I've heard of a case here and there, of a woman that's easily aroused or whatever. And, like basically walking around with wet panties all the time,
right.
And making getting the sensations. But that's like, so, I mean, I've worked in news for almost 20 years. Like I've heard and seen a lot of things, but this is one of the ones that like maybe I've heard about it once or twice ever in the course of 20 years, but to hear it be 1% in America diagnosed, like that they know about, like that's
Well, so basically, I think what's happening. Look, it's not hard to imagine
unbelievable
that if this were happening to you, you're not going to be out. You're not going to be talking about it in public. You're not going to tell your friends. You're not going to, like, oh my God, I keep coming all day long. I don't know what's going on. So I think, you probably think you're a fucking freak, and you think you're a freak and so you don't talk about it. But because everybody does that, everyone thinks they're a freak because nobody talks about it. So it's a vicious circle. This is one of those things where it's just good for people to talk about it.
So I want to look up like basic information about this, because I didn't know that there was a formal diagnosis about this thing. I just thought it was one of those weird, like the hiccup woman, right? Like it was just one of those weird things.
Well, it is like that.
I know, but like this is 1% is a big number in the United States. We have 330
there's
million
all sorts of people
here.
people have all sorts of freaky things, right? There's that condition where you can't recognize people's faces. You can't discern one face from another. There's the thing where you don't feel any pain. So like even if you
I did a whole special on that.
Put your hand on the stove, it just starts cooking, but you don't feel anything.
I've interviewed people like that.
And there's lots of stuff like there's lots of really strange things out there.
This one, but the woman that they're
look at me. I had a wart, and I almost died from that wart.
A wart?
A wart on my chest. I can't believe I've never told you this story. Short version.
You could have died.
Well, I almost died. So the wart appeared on my chest. I made an appointment to have it removed a few days later when I could get an appointment with a dermatologist. In the interim, in the middle of the night, it turned out that the root had grown into my artery, and it popped like a cork. So I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's like a Tarantino movie with the like squirting out. And they said that I lost 8 pints of blood. This was in 1984. I was rushed to the hospital. They assumed I'd been shot because of all the blood that there was. They had to cut my shirt off. They used silver iodide, I think it was, to staunch the bleeding. And it was very, very rare. By the way, there were a lot of freaky things about this. So when they figured out what it was, they were like, you need a blood transfusion. Now, bear in mind, it was 84 in the middle of the AIDS crisis. And at the time, only half of the nation's blood supply had been screened. So it's 50-50 whether you're going to get AIDS or not from this blood.
Oh, my God.
And they were like, please sign here. And I said, what if I don't sign? They said, who would you like us to notify as your next of kin? You'll be dead in 45 minutes. I'm like, pen, please. So so the point is, then, ultimately they took care of it. It was a long story, but that night while they were working on me, I had like 20 ER doctors, and they were like, get Dr. Altschuler down here. And soon I have all these people. And so the doctor's like, watch very carefully. You may never see this the rest of your medical career. It's like a wart has grown into the artery and burst. And I was written up in the journals of the American Dermatological Association as a rare case of a potentially fatal dermatological condition. Nothing dermatological, like skin cancer doesn't kill anybody. It's when it metastasizes and gets into your body. So dermatologists kind of feel like they're like B-list doctors because they're not really like fighting to keep people alive. So my case was very exciting to them. And I met a dermatologist at a bar one time.
Never heard of that.
And the guy was like, oh my God, I remember your case. You're like a legend among dermatologists.
You're in the annals of dermatology documents in the medical industry. I mean, the annals, Ted. Annals. We're talking about sex.
I see in the annals or the anal. Or
you're in the annals of scientific documentation here.
Yeah. My point is that like weird shit happens to people, and this is one. And and again, like you and I have known each other for years. I never told you that.
Not a 1% of the.
I never told you that story. That can happen to you though. So like now maybe someone who has a wart on their chest will go get it taken care of because they heard this show. So that's what I'm saying. It's a good idea to talk about these things.
Medical shit is there are these weird anomalies that happen. Like there's rare, there's ultra rare, like and it gets rarer and rarer and rarer.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about 1% of women diagnosed with PGAD,
like I said, uncommon
like
but
really
not rare.
High number.
Uncommon but not rare. I think
it sounds like a really high number. I feel like I would have heard more news about. I don't know, or maybe not. I don't know. It's just a weird I know
Well,
people talk about this. Women are
Manila,
often.
this is the news. Everything starts somewhere. This
Yeah.
is it. This is its start.
This
All
is
right. And let's last
crazy.
but not least, women who have lost interest in having sex with their partner may assume that they don't like sex anymore. The majority of women in long-term heteronormative relationships do tend to lose interest in sex earlier than the male partner. That, according to Johanna Waugh, provisional psychosexual therapist based in Sydney, Gadigal Country in Australia. And women often blame themselves. A common internal narrative might be, "What's wrong with me? I used to enjoy sex. Why don't I want it anymore?" she says. But research shows it's less about not wanting sex and more about being bored to the sex that's available to them. Contrary to the stories we're told about male and female sexuality, it's actually women who are primarily asking for polyamorous and open relationships. Social researcher and author Wednesday Martin previously told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation at least 6 longitudinal studies, in total tens of thousands of adults in the ages range of 18 to 70, showed consistently that in a long-term committed exclusive relationship, women stop wanting to have sex in years 1 to 4, which
that's really early.
Makes me very sad. Whereas men, she says, are pretty happy having sex with their long-term partners for 9 or 12 years without reporting any boredom. Women crave novelty and excitement in the bedroom, she says, and the burden of mental load doesn't help to increase the ladies.
I get that.
One study from 2012 found that for women only, lack of interest was higher among those in a relationship of more than a year in duration. A study from 2018 found the longer the duration of the relationship, the more relationship quality could influence sexual desire for women. And in 2023, a different study found that sexual boredom was more common for men in heterosexual long-term relationships but they still had high sexual desire for their partner overall, but women's desire for their partner declined and they got more and more bored. The psychologist says that without effort or novelty, women's sexual desire can wane over time. In addition to the role monotony plays in the picture, researchers are increasingly looking at how mental load factors into it. A 2022 study found that growing inequity over the course of a relationship can be responsible. Women are largely responsible for the invisible and visible work of the home, says Kobe Baker, sexologist at Melbourne, Narm, and Southwest Victoria. Women, generally speaking, take on more things like doing the kids' school lunches, pick up and drop off, thinking about the mother-in-law's birthday present. Sex becomes just another thing on the to-do list. Baker says that while some women experience a lack of desire or sexual dissatisfaction, may choose to end or open the relationship or even have an affair, the more common outcome is simply putting up with bad sex. So I also read, this was kind of fascinating in preparing for this story, that 16% of Americans say they would like to be in a polyamorous relationship and 10 to 11% are. Obviously, that's like 80% of millennials, but yeah.
Yes, not millennials, Gen Zers.
Both.
The youngest of the millennials and the Gen Zers.
Yeah, the under 35 people. Yeah.
Yeah, the under 35. That's a better classification. So first, addressing the poly thing, it is becoming like this trend. They try it, Ted, and I know some people that have tried it.
I know lots of people who've tried it.
And without fail, it always fails. Like there's been a 100% failure rate.
Studies have shown it's like maybe 99%, but like basically studies have shown that it is the least successful form of a format for relationship.
The people I know, 100% have failed.
Then there's the normal,
handful that I know,
standard monogamous thing.
But then you're left with this.
That's 50-50.
You're looking at
the
this
most,
like
the
standard,
most successful by far is
he
swinging.
and her.
The most successful is swinging, though, right? Studies show that repeatedly.
Just adding a splash of color here and there.
You have a committed relationship. You're married or whatever, but yeah, you guys, you you go do things with other people, but together.
Oh, like a hall pass? Is that technically?
No, not hall pass.
No?
It's more like like couple swapping, that sort of thing.
Is that technically how swinging is defined? Is like you have
You have
an
a committed,
approved other couple?
you have a committed relationship. Well, it can be other configurations, right? They can bring in, like a couple could have a threesome with a guy or a girl, or they could, or they can go to a sex.
You don't maintain a relationship with that third party, with party
No,
C.
no, that's poly.
Yeah.
That's poly. So that's the difference. In poly, it's like you would have relationships with other people. You could go to orgies or whatever,
Right.
but you know each other. You all talk to each other. You
Right.
hang
It's your
out
safe
together.
space
You
of
pick up each other's
people.
kids from school. All that stuff.
Right. I know
Whereas
people who did that.
swinging, it's like, it's like, thanks, that was nice. The end of the evening. See ya.
Right. Like, so you have flings, a shared fling with
Correct.
party C.
And
A and B have C.
that's by far the most successful configuration.
Well, even that, I mean, that's
Obviously,
not my
you
thing,
can't be the
but-
jealous type, but yeah.
Well, obviously, but I will say, the part of that article that really struck a chord in me, and I think many other wives in the world or this country that may be listening, and for you husbands that are listening, the whole mental load thing is real. Things. First of all,
I'm going to push back on that, but I'm going to let you finish your point.
I'll admit, but you didn't carry the kid, Ted. I'll admit, your body changes.
I'm a single father. I'm the wrong person to talk about that.
Your body, no.
I'm not going to get into my experience here.
Biologically, women's bodies change, and there's adaptations that have to happen hormonally, mentally, emotionally. Also, I've read plenty of studies that actually show the women that have carried children. Like, I know there's all the women with the baby daddies, the multiple baby daddies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in my case, there's one baby daddy, one kid.
One
husband.
would be strange if I guess now with the new technology, there could be multiple baby daddies for one child.
There could. I don't know. So, but in my case, like, we'll stick with the plain, boring, Manila is married to a man, one time, one kid.
Mm-hmm.
So there are studies that show that when a woman has a partner, like, Robbie and his wife have 2 kids, the males, when you guys make your load deposit and create a baby,
yeah,
you guys actually leave your DNA markers in, like, you guys alter our genetic makeup.
By the way, also
studies
have shown that unprotected sex reduces depression in women, like, because there's happy juice in there.
Yes, there's
so like they found a correlation,
Cain.
like women who were using condoms had a much higher rate of clinical depression.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of studies about that. So first, let me just say, for anyone that doesn't believe,
I know I kind of lied. I have to interject this. Studies have also shown that people always say, like, women will say, like, well, maybe if you took out the trash more, if you changed the diapers more, I'd be more horny for you. But studies have actually said, and that might make sense to, like, a liberal psychologist, but the truth is, it's not true. In reality, traditional gender roles lead to more successful marital and sexual outcomes, where the guy cuts the lawn and trims the shrubs.
I agree. That's how,
and the woman cooks and cleans.
But what I was going to say is that because you guys have physically, biologically
imprinted.
And the baby then also, and it's even worse if the baby is a boy. Like, I have a son. There are two male DNA fingerprints, if you will, like, imprinted in my body.
Are you talking about the phenomenon about, like, how, like,
to wear off?
Women kind of fall in love with their baby boy or whatever, and then
no. I'm just saying. No. This is not some Electra.
Okay.
No.
Good reference.
I'm talking about literally just that the spouse, the husband, and let's say the baby boy that she has. Now you have 2 male DNA sets that have been deposited in your body that your body cannot get rid of for many, many years. It takes even longer because you've gestated the child. So I'm getting there. You have to let me get there. So once you guys have done that, this is now you're in a husband and wife relationship. You have kids. So the woman's body has been chemically altered for many years. And if this study is saying that in as early as years 1 through 4, and for many, many marriages, newlyweds tend to have kids, a year, 2 years into the marriage, that you tend to pop out one kid. That was true for me.
Okay.
You have already altered the chemicals in your own body, the chemicals in your brain.
Okay, but what's the effect of that?
But that's why women may seem bored with having the same dick every night.
Well, so we get back to the point here, which is novelty.
And it's not that
right?
she hates her husband, and it's not that the sex itself is bad. It's that she's
well, the sex is the same is the key.
Right.
It's
that's
the
what
same
I'm saying.
person.
It's not that
that might be why the swinging thing works, right?
It's not that she hates her spouse. It's not any of those things. And for many women, the humdrum daily grind is actually a good thing. Like, women crave stability. Women want that. But if she's no
I don't
longer
know about that.
attracted
Women
to
love
her
drama,
husband,
and drama doesn't bring about stability.
ultimately, yeah, women have this complicated, web of thoughts in their brains because it's clouded
That's
by
what I mean.
hormones. But if you really boil it down, women, just the way nature has made us, has programmed us, is women crave the male as a protector, right? And a provider.
But maybe
That's
not
just
as
how we're programmed.
maybe not so much as a lover. So the solution, seems to be
That could be true.
it seems like mixing it up seems to help, like doing things differently, not always being a creature of routine. People in bed tend to have a routine, right? I mean, like, I'll do this, you do that, I'll do, like, that's like.
Didn't the WNBA protesters solve this problem? I mean, in all fairness, I mean, by definition, that's fixing this, right?
So I think a lot of this, believe it or not, Ted, and Robbie, you two men, there's been way too many dick studies out there. The little blue pill is covered by all these freaking insurance companies, but there are, when you compare apples to apples, there's relatively a small amount of studying that has been done on the female body, the hormones.
That's all true.
It's all true because you guys have dominated the medical industry since the dawn of time. We've only entered the conversation in the past 50 or 60 years. And we're of course, the ones that are going to care about our own bodies, because you guys, put us in high heels, told us to wear bras, put us in corsets, and you assholes are like, oh, my dick can't get hard. Let's invent a pill for this. You guys have not even begun to scratch the surface of women's psychology, women's health.
What this is about. That's what these studies are about.
And that's why I'm saying this is just the beginning. And I'm raging on the two men here because they think, like, I'm not saying it's you guys, but you men in general out there think,
what did we do?
We're so far along in science, we know everything about everything. That's actually not true. It's that with men's bodies and men's health, they know a vast amount, way more about men's bodies and men's health than we presently know about women's bodies and how it works, other than the basic, like, oh, you reach menarche at about 13.
Well, you know why though, right? Also, historically, you know why that is, right? It's because historically, from a historical perspective, men tend to have more surgeries. That was true in ancient Rome. That's true now. Who does most of the fighting in the military? It's men. Who tends to have the more traumatic injuries? It's men. So that's why. Honestly, that's actually.
But I'm talking about now in the 20th and 21st century, women. I mean, truly, women have not been educated to become doctors and allowed to become doctors really until like the early 20th century. Like, I mean, sure, there are occasional scientists here and there or whatever over the past 200 years, but really the study of the female psyche, the female body, the hormones and everything that's involved, and especially what's being stifled. And this is what annoys me with the whole wokeism argument, is the whole wokeism thing is another patriarchal mess, because now you guys are trying to take over our gender and tell us that you're one of us. So that's one of the things that really pisses me off. And then we're gonna wipe women away entirely. So what happens to women's studies?
All right,
Women's
J.K.
health?
Rowling.
Well, congratulations,
So
you're
this-
King Robbie. So why were you
But
advocating
but,
trainees in the
but
military?
that's also but that is part of the argument that pisses me off of why we don't know enough about women's health, because even when women are trying to learn about our own bodies and our own psyches and how this works, we have males, biological penis individuals entering our spaces and telling us we don't exist, and telling us that we're all the same and that our bodies are totally the same. No, they're not.
So
They're
what you're
not
saying
the same.
so what you're saying is correct. So then my question to you is, why do you defend the trainees who are doing this?
I don't defend
The hell
Robbie,
you
what
don't.
the
You have no
world are
problem
you
with,
living
you
in?
have, you have no problem with them being in the military and all these other things like that.
No, I don't care
Trainees
that they
in the
have
military,
civil
they're gonna
rights.
discharge them?
For sure, I don't care that they have civil rights. But when it comes to
Well,
playing in
pick a
girls'
side.
sport, no, it's not a binary choice. I want people to have civil rights. Sure. I don't mind that they serve in the military as long as they can do their job. But should they be trying to wipe away the science that's involved with my body? No, of course not. Should they be able to influence science and tell where your employer, where you work, a big, medical facility, teaching their workers to say that, for the sake of political correctness, that women don't even exist? Because, Robbie, that's why you need sensitivity training.
Yeah.
Because I don't exist.
Well, no, I have to have sensitivity training because you do exist.
Or that you exist exactly the same, that you do exist, and that there's no difference biologically between you and a trans woman.
No.
That's my point. And that's what I hated about the left, is saying it's one thing to respect the trans community and give them their civil rights and treat them kindly like other human beings. But it's another when that wokeology works its way into medical sciences. And that's the part that bothers me, is that the world of medical science has been dominated by men since we've had this technology.
You've made your point, Manila.
And we don't know anything. We don't know jack shit about women's bodies.
Let's talk about lesbian bed death. So to me, that's a famous phenomenon that basically lesbians they move in together, they stop having sex after like a month. And basically
I don't know this
they're
term.
miserable people. I
don't know this term
there's
at
nothing
all.
more, lesbians are very unhappy people and they don't bone at all. And so the point is, this study would seem to indicate to me why, because at least with a heteronormative relationship, okay, so at least the guy's happy. So, to keep the guy happy, the girl keeps doing it. But if you've got two girls, well, nobody's happy. So nobody's doing it. So the sex dies and the relationship turns ugly. I mean, the happiest people I know are gay couples, gay guys. I mean, they have a great relationship.
True.
They're having a great time.
That's true.
They're literally and they're so no drama. Literally, I had friends back a long time ago who were we're all hanging out, watching a movie, drinking beers together, the two guys and me. And then they're like, hey, Ted, listen, we're going to take a sex break. Why don't you go take a shit and come back in 20 minutes and we'll watch the rest of the movie. It's so relaxed. It's so great. Normal couples are never like that, And then the lesbians are like, you didn't walk the dog right. It's I found
I know some old, like what we would call the butchy lesbians.
Yes.
Old ones. I mean these are senior citizen old.
Terrifying. Yeah.
But they seem happy with their short bowl haircuts, because they all have it's a mandatory
There's
haircut.
an article in the New York Times today that came out yesterday. You know how they have the great read, the big long stories, and it was about
I don't know about their sex though.
And it was basically about these ladies, mostly lesbians, who all live in a lesbian only community. I think in Washington State or Oregon, of course.
Of course.
And basically how happy they are. And it's so funny. He's like, we love living here without men. No men. It's so great. And I'm like, And then you just like, basically the whole thing is how about they getting angry at each other. She let her cats wander around. She she bugs me because of this and that. I'm like, oh, you guys are horrible people. Horrible. Horrible old. And they're like, we don't need men. I'm like, I think you need men. You just don't think you need men.
Yeah, that's always been the thing that kept me from trying lesbianism. That I was like, too many feelings. Too many feelings.
Yeah. You got
like,
like in a heteronormative relationship, having one person with all those feelings is one too many. You don't need two.
And I'm not even
feelings are bad. Feelings are to be.
Feelings are not bad. They're healthy and normal. I'm not even the most feels of a woman. Like, I'm like pretty moderate. Like, I'm not.
That's true.
I'm not a very emotional person. Yeah, I'm fairly like, I use my head more than my heart, I think. So I always figured, I was like, yeah, I mean, I knew in the 90s, this, like, I kissed a girl and I liked it. That became a thing. And I
see that the last part of that is probably not true. You probably didn't like it that much.
They didn't like it that much.
No, because it's not that great.
You're doing stuff at a party and like the girls, so it was never my thing. And I always knew that, and I was never going to cow to, imagine that. I wouldn't cow to peer pressure and like what's cool or whatever. I didn't care. And I was like, no, like, why are you doing that? Are you actually into girls? And I would ask my girlfriends that, and they'd be like, no, we're just doing it for fun. And I'm like, so why is that fun?
What for? Why?
If you're into dude, like I like boys, you like boys. Wouldn't it be more fun to like make out with a boy at a party and you kind of get turned on and you're like, ooh,
No, I mean, it's definitely it's that thing where you get like, there's social influence. I mean, and I think
that's it.
Of the many things that liberals don't get, they definitely downplay that impact. For example, the social contagion aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's so weird. Like, when I was a teenager,
God's dad calls it the mind virus, the woke mind virus.
A trans woman, and it was and she was very, very unusual, right, at the time. And then now it's so common for people to claim to be like gender fluid or two spirits or whatever. But it's like, it's sort of like, if you look at the reverse, right? Like in Japan, it's not cool to be gay, and so officially, the percentage of homosexuals in Japan is under 1%. Now, so like it's either underground or it's suppressed. But I think a lot of Japanese, they just they know this. They might be attracted to, guys same sex, but they choose not to pursue it because there's such a societal prohibition.
It's a stigma, the social stigma.
It's a taboo. So same exact thing. Conversely, here, if something's suddenly deemed cool, like everyone's doing it, then, a certain percentage of the population feels like they should in order to be cool. I mean, it makes sense. It's like, why in the US does everybody, drive Ford F-150 giant pickup trucks and no one in Belgium does, right? Because it's culture. And culture influences.
The roads in Belgium are small little cobblestone, so
Well, that's true. But the roads in New York City
are the wide blue
very,
yonder.
very narrow, and it's not stopping anyone from driving SUVs.
Speaking of the wide blue yonder, we're gonna wrap this up because you're gonna get out there. Today's your first book signing, right?
Yeah,
Friday,
1 p.m. at the Kalispell, Montana, Barnes and
Noble,
and 1 o'clock tomorrow, Barnes and Noble again. So if you miss today, there's always tomorrow, or you can come to both.
You guys got to be tweeting about this and letting people know.
Yeah, we'll do. By the way, the bookstore misspelled my name. Can you believe that? 2 D's. No one's got 2 D's.
Who? I've never seen a Ted.
No, no one has. I couldn't begin to tell you how many. I think they think it's.
They gave you 2 D's and 2 L's.
I mean, yeah, it's getting to be like not the most common name, right? So I think people are just, what's the word, retarded.
Barnes & Noble's not sending their best here.
No, they're
well, Maybe it's the same people making the flyers out there at Barnes and Noble, Ted, that are the same people that are your baristas at Starbucks that are writing your name on the cup.
My baristas always spell Ted correctly.
I stopped giving them Manila eons ago, and I have a Starbucks name. Do you have a your name is easy, Ted. I have a Starbucks name.
Really? Is it Starlight?
No. What I mean by a Starbucks name is that because no one could ever fucking spell Manila, even if I spell it out for them, the cup is always wrong. And then they'll try to pronounce it in funky, weird ways or whatever. So when I go to Starbucks once a year, maybe because there's nothing else around.
Yeah,
I tell them.
Too. I might prefer diner or deli coffee.
I usually carry like my own.
Yeah, I'm usually a home brewer.
But if that's all that's around and I go to Starbucks, my Starbucks pseudonym is Lisa.
They could misspell that too.
But then they fuck that up too.
2 S's.
Lisa. Lisa. I just use Lisa because I figure they can spell it. There's
yesterday morning at LaGuardia at the American Airlines terminal, I got a breakfast sandwich. I left my name. The guy said, Teed. Now, I would say that it's a fair bet that if ICE were there for him, it would be legal to deport him based on a test like that.
But was it spelled right and he just pronounced it?
See, now, when you went to Nickel Charlie's yesterday, you had a good meal and they could pronounce your name.
That's true.
So that is an advantage that Montana has.
No. By the way, Montanans are good-looking people. It's not like going to. It's not like going to like Wisconsin or something like that. I mean, it's like, or like Western Pennsylvania, where it's like, whoa. It's like, no, I don't know what the ethnic brew is here, but they're very good looking. I mean, it's kind of like shocking.
You saw all did you see hot women there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, no question. And some really good looking guys too.
Interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have FOMO that the two of them are out there. They're gonna go sightseeing. After the book signing?
If this show ever ends, yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys got to go do that before the book signing today and tomorrow. Down in downtown Kalispell, Montana, the Barnes and Noble, 1 p.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. something like that.
We'll say 3. I'm not sticking.
Go see
Unless
Ted to the
people, in which case I will stick.
Go see Ted to the Rall, and Robbie, and meet Robbie too.
And thank you, Manila.
I get that, Manila.
Now,
Manila.
I bet you Ted's realized this. If not, he will when we get to Barnes and Noble. All the native Montanans here are all white, but we have a lot of color diversity here because of all the Canadians coming down, most of which are Indians, dot not feather.
And there's a lot of out of state plates parked by my Airbnb too.
No kidding.
Take
lots of pictures and share with us.
Colorado, California, Wyoming, Oregon, Washington.
No kidding. All
right. The place. It's a boom town. By the way, I walked by the little. I bet you do this as a former realtor. Whenever I'm in a new town and there's the real estate office with all the pictures in the window, I always check it out, and I'm like, holy shit! It's like $2.5 million, and I'm like, oh, you must be able to get like an incredible like lake house with a view of the 5 bedrooms. 3 bedroom, 2 bath apartment.
That's like a Manhattan loft.
Yeah. Well, are you kidding? Like in my neighborhood, you could totally buy an apartment with a view of Riverside Drive for less than that. I mean, with a view of the Hudson River, like a clear open view of New Jersey and the whole thing. Like you could be on the 20th floor with like all mod cons. So it's crazy. I mean,
I'm urging Ted to write a story about that. The housing crisis.
I'm totally going to. No, it's like it's insane, and it's just like what Robbie said. It's like it's the high prices with the low income. That's the lowest circle.
That's the part. That's the part.
I mean,
All right,
where I
so if
grew
you
up,
can, go
everything
down.
was
If
dirt cheap.
you all are in the area, go down to Kalispell, Montana, or go up to Kalispell, Montana, Barnes and Noble.
You can come from
Ted and Robbie
Canada.
will be there. If you're from Canada, the Great White North, go visit these two.
Your Canadian dollars are come before the $15,000 reciprocal
Tariff.
fee goes into business. You know about you know about the visa, right? Like Trump
That's
wants
right,
to impose a $15,000 visa fee. You know, visa fees are reciprocal, Manila, which means that if he does that, Americans would have to pay $15,000 to go to any other country also.
So we're trapped here?
Yeah, we're fucking trapped. It's like the fucking USSR. Yeah, it's like North Korea, the Hermit
Oh
Kingdom.
my God.
I mean,
Well,
just for that reason alone, Trump should be overthrown.
I'm fucking glad I went to Iceland when I did.
Yeah. Glad I went to
Jeez,
Russia when I did.
All right, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy your time together doing your man love.
We are. Well, it's not that kind of man. It's no bromance.
But it's bro man.
Yeah.
I'm as straight as an arrow.
We know. Bromance.
Great. Bye, guys.
Adios. Bye.
Have a good weekend.